Hello, everyone. We're live. Welcome. Thank you for coming along on a Thursday. I'm just mixing things up. I was in the hospital yesterday. Hello, Adrienne. Um, Hopefully, I should be back in, well, just under 2 weeks' time on a Wednesday, but it may vary. It depends on many different things. So, thanks for bearing with me. Hello, Stephen. Lovely to have you here too. So anyway, it's quite fun because we're back to a mystery fold where we don't quite know what we're going to fold. Maybe you just saw a quick glimpse. Hello, Penny, Barbara. Oh, lovely to have you here. Um, yes. So I thought again, this has been on my wish list for a long time. So a camellia, and this is a traditional fold. And actually, I first did this one because I was looking for ones to laminate. This isn't something I generally recommend for origami, but in a hospital, then you need to have this kind of plastic coated, so it can definitely be cleaned. That way, it's going to last. So I was looking up sort of designs that sort of work with two colours and sort of look like something. So I made a few of these. I have to say, this has been on my wish list for a long time. It looks so simple, doesn't it? Have any of you ever made this one before, a camellia? Also, I'm thinking of camellias because this time of year I've been seeing lots and I just love them. They're so beautiful. So this is really on my wish list for now. You've not made it. Great, Adrian. Well, it looks incredibly simple. I have to say, out of everything I've ever tried to show online, it's the hardest one I've ever tried to do. I think particularly because it's quite asymmetrical. And when I've made a film already, which will come out on Saturday, but it's because it's quite asymmetrical, somehow trying to do that into a camera, oh, it's really hard. And this is quite a tricky one, and it's really weird because it looks so simple. So enjoy the puzzle. I'll do my best. I still feel like I don't quite know it thoroughly myself, so I'm afraid you're going to have to go patient with me. So a film will come out if you get lost at all. A film will come out on Saturday. And I've also, with the film, included a link to another film, which is where I learnt it from, because it may be that it's hard to follow. There's particularly one step where you unpick things and then put it together again. But it's got a really nice feel to it, hasn't it? Oh, but if I have, wow. So this is, yeah, it's amazing how I've been trying to tick through some of these traditional folds, and you sort of almost dismiss them as well. They're ones that you've seen a lot, but you've not necessarily done them, and it's a really interesting experience to do, and it's not necessarily as easy as you think. It's a little bit like a tattoo, one of these kind of self-enclosing boxes, really. But I love that this is traditional, and I love seeing the camellias at this time of year. So, if you do have origami paper, this could be your time to enjoy those two different coloured sides. So, this one, obviously, I had darker pink on one side of the paper, paler on the other. I have been making my own papers, which I rather like. So, in this case, it's some scrap paper, and I did just a big swirl. So, I'm going to do something a bit like that because actually, I think it looks really effective. So, maybe you could do that. So, if you have plain paper, go and find yourself a pink or red or whatever colour that you could swirl around in. Or you can do, I just did black and white one. That also looks quite good. Slightly cobweb-like, but yeah. So you could do a quick doodle on your paper. That's what I'm going to do. I'll lead you through it. Let's see whether it works. As I said, I have found this exceptionally hard. I think it's also because it's quite tricky anyway, but then trying to do it into the camera, because whether you follow looking in the camera or at your own hands, this isn't stuff you need to know, but if something's quite simple, I can easily do it all. Whereas if it gets quite tricky, I do find it gets into limitations. Whereas I can certainly understand why people who demonstrate origami a lot, particularly complex ones, have a camera overhead and view. But I've enjoyed, rising to the challenge, and that this is also about kind of sitting across the table at each other. So it's a different experience. And for example, like demonstrating in a classroom or to others, it's good to be able to show that way. So anyway, don't make life easy. It's coming up to 4 minutes past. Right, in a minute, I'm going to grab myself a piece of paper. So grab yourself some paper. As I said, if you've got origami paper, this will be your time to enjoy. But as I said, I think it's rather nice, the drawing. So I'm going to do one like that again. Yeah, let's see whether we can do it. As I said, consider this one a real puzzle. And there is always the backup film that comes out on Saturday morning and on my channel. And as I said in the text, it includes a link to where I tried to learn it from. So, but it is a traditional fold, this one. It's hard. Okay, at least I've built up your kind of expectations. Starts off nice and simple. Right. So we're going to take this paper and I'm just going to fold it in half, as usual. That's it. Fold it in half. Good. Good strong fold. Oh yeah, camellias are beautiful. I also am a big fan of tea, and of course tea is a camellia as well. So I've just folded it in half, a little tiny neck. For those of you who don't have origami paper, so you can make your own. You could also use, any scrap paper as well. That's what I was practicing with. Yeah. I don't think this is necessarily one to show people who are just starting, to be honest. But hello, Manny. We're going to have a go at making a camellia, which looks very simple. Oh, looks can be deceptive. Okay, I'm going to turn it over. Bring back that tab. Thank you for coming along on a different day. Hopefully, in just under 2 weeks now, hopefully I'll be back on a Wednesday. But if I can keep you posted, if I again put a sort of a note in the title of this film, then that's a way you can look out for it, or on Facebook or on Twitter. So between hopefully all of these, you'll figure it out. There we go. Right. So maybe actually, first of all, if you have got origami paper and you wanted the white to be in the center, which would be the most obvious, then this is your white side. So you're going to take your white side of your origami paper, if you have origami paper, fold it in half, like so. That's right. And then open it up, and then you'll do the other fold. So taking one corner and matching it up to the other. And in a moment, I'm going to add a splash of colour, because I do think it looks rather nice actually drawn on. So open it up. So this is our white side of our origami paper. I presume you're keeping up, but do shout if you want me to explain anything, okay? So I'm going to take my piece and I'm just going to turn it over to that sort of tent-like side, and I'm going to add a quick bit of colour actually. So, it probably would have been easier then for the folding, I can feel, but never mind. It does not matter. There is no such thing as perfection. Even though origami touches on perfection, doesn't it? Thinking these gorgeous camellias. Oh, that was nice. So if you wanted to add colour, that's the side to do it to. I will wait just a second. Let me know if you want me to pause. So that's on that sort of tent side, then turn it back to the white side. Now the fun begins. Right, I am going to attempt to do it in a mirror way. Oh, so hard. Right. So first of all, we're going to take this lower edge, doesn't actually matter, but just have it the same as me, and fold it up to this line, like so. It's maybe a mistake on my part to do it into the camera. We will see. So hopefully it's looking like that. Are you happy with that? So, go for a white one, that's fine. Just taking this lower edge and bringing it along that diagonal line. As I said, with the camellia, looks easy. It's not. And I'm doing it into a mirror, in effect, just to make it harder. Right, I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to match it up to this point. Like so. So I used to attempt to memorise everything. but really, it's a bit much. Unless you do something very regularly, it's pretty hard actually to memorize lots and lots of things, but it is possible, of course. I was trying to, but then I've realized I don't need to tax myself that much. Okay, are you happy? Is it looking like that for everyone? Yeah. So sort of the idea, at least that's what I get, is you're almost starting to open up the inside of your flower. So I'm going to take this edge. Great. I'm going to take this edge, and the idea is to sort of match up along that line inside there. Great. So I'm sort of lifting this up. I'm having to see what I'm going to do here. Right. So I'm lifting this up inside there to sort of match along that line inside. Are you getting that? So once you've got it like that, you should be able to just gently follow the lines that are already there. There we go. Shall I show you again? Maybe. Gosh, what was it? Okay. So it was like this, and I sort of lift it up on the inside, and it sort of pulls and makes the paper a little bit tense. But then you'll find you'll be able to press down that area. As I said, this is not one for a beginner. I have to say, I mean, it looks like it's quite simple. It's not as a traditional one, but there you go. Great. Are you happy with this? I hope so. Right. This is when I realise it's a bit hard having in my, oh, is it like that? Right. Okay. So moving it around now. So it was this position. So we're always slightly moving it around as well. There we go. So make sure yours is in the same position. We're all, in effect, working in mirrors, which, wow, it's mind-boggling, this. Because the actual piece looks so symmetrical, but it's not to make. Maybe there are other ways of making this that I just don't appreciate, but this is how I learnt it. Right, we're going to take this side and bring it to that corner, I think. No, hang on. Sorry. So we're going to take this corner and bring it to this point. Have any of you made this before? Stephen, you said you might have done a long time ago. I feel as if I'm on a slightly scary ride. There we go. Aren't these lovely when you do the marks and you see these little shapes transform? Love that kind of thing. Are you with me, everybody? I'd almost find this one hard to go back on because I get confused myself. I am not that fluent on this. I think I'd have to practice so many times. I'm afraid I don't always have the time for that. So I've done my best. As I said, great. Oh, well done, Marnie. Right. So again, we're opening up to follow. You see there's that line in the middle. So again, I'm lifting this up. Almost feel your tongue coming out this. Right. I am lifting this up so it lines up with that line inside there. While trying to keep this held in place, because it's this sort of square in the middle that you're making. And again, once you've got that in the right place, then you should be able to press this area down like so. All right. How's that looking for you? Does it look like that? Look, that could be a bit better. Okay, and the joys of doing this into a camera. Is it looking like this? Happy, everyone? What a big challenge. Great. So, great. Oh, good. Well done, Barbara. Right, I'm going to turn it round again this way. I mean, they're such interesting shapes, aren't they? Looking like yours. Well done, Adrian. You're working in a mirror. I'm working in a mirror. Wow. So I'm going to take this corner and I think match it up down there. Let's have a look. Yes. I'm going to take this corner and match it up to this corner. Like so. And again, pressing down on the sides. Okay. Is it looking like that for you? Because a lot of the sort of traditional pieces, you can feel the sort of kind of uneasy asymmetry, whereas this is all very asymmetrical, but it produces something that is symmetrical. I don't know why I struggle with this, but it's good to have these wishes, isn't it? Okay, so what are we doing next? Okay, so I think again it's this principle of making that, again, contributing to this sort of shape in the center. So I'm going to lift this up and match it with a nice white line underneath there. So again, I'm lifting this up. As I said, I think if you haven't done origami before, this is just not the place to start. So it's sort of matched in there. And again, you should be able to gently get that triangle shape pressed down like so. Like so. Right. Is it looking like that? I hope so. So I've made myself little diagrammy things and I'm following that, but I can't follow it if I'm looking at my hand. So I have to look in the mirror, the camera. Right. So I think maybe we just again tilt it round a little bit. Now it's a little bit almost like any tattoo or these circular structures. You have to it's the final step that's the hardest. You almost have to unpick it a bit in order to interact with the others. Yes. So just bear that in mind. It's always the last step. It's the tricky one. So I'm going to take this flap that's there and push it away just for now. Yeah. And we're going to work on this area. Now it involves opening it up, taking a line and changing the direction of it. All right, let's see if we can do it. So we're going to go inside this pocket. So it's this bigger area. We're going in. I'm opening that up. Now, can you see this line here that goes in? You're going to need to change that so it goes out. So let me just show you again where that is. I forget. No idea where I forget. So it was like this, and I push back that flap, and I'm having to open up all of this area, this big wider area. And this bit that's going in, it needs to go out. And my apologies if you just feel utterly confused. You know, I'm not very robust on this, I have to say. So I'm going to just change the direction of that line. As I said, I've made a video. If you don't follow that, there's another one you could follow. So I'm making it go the other way, that bit of a line. And then I'm sort of taking this area and just pushing that in. Hopefully. Hopefully this will start to work out. And then I hope you follow this. And then I'm just going to bring this up here and pressing it round. Oh dear. If you ask me to repeat it now, I'm just like, I do not know. But when it does come together, it's fairly obvious that it's symmetrical. So now this piece will tuck into this one. And then this one will tuck into this one. Oh, that one needs stuck into that one. Oh, oh, is that right? Yes. And then that one into that one. Maybe there's an easier way of doing this. I don't know. How have you got on? I'm so sorry. It's a nightmare, isn't it? I feel that's like not a great explanation, but I have to say I do struggle with this myself. But it makes the satisfaction when it comes together so much better. It's quite tricky to get it great directions. It worked wow, Barbara. I'm amazed. Really good direction. I feel like it was terrible. But it's partly because I think I'm just learning. Yeah, it's an interesting check. Well, then that's progress, isn't it? And it is interesting, and it's certainly tricky to do. I certainly found mine were a bit off at first, and this actually, you can see it's not that correct, but it's not bad. And it is quite nice, isn't it, with the scribbles like that? Yeah, work in progress, I'd say. It is like a nice little tattoo. How's it gone? Has it worked for others, or has it not worked? I'm not surprised if it's not worked. As I said, I think it's one to keep working at and have a look. Or if you look up traditional camellia on YouTube, you'll find some more much slicker films where they're filming it. But I did, even then I found it very hard too. So I wonder if there are other ways of doing it. It feels so perfectly symmetrical, but you go through such a kind of unbalanced looking shapes. But it's interesting, isn't it? I hope it's been a good puzzle for you. As I said, yeah, yeah, it's interesting. It's challenging. So I will be back, I think, in 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks' time. And as I said, I will post up. Still needs to, find it. Yeah, I agree. And I think I feel a little bit like that as well. Mine's a tiny bit off. Bit of work. Yeah, exactly. I gave you a challenge. It's surprisingly interesting, isn't it? As a traditional, it's not as easy as you'd think. It's certainly up there, I think, with top tricky ones. Try doing it to camera at the same time. Somehow you can't both look at your own hands and look into a camera, or at least I can't, because your head just can't quite compute all of that. Oh, I just want to get those lines a little bit more. It's all about precision. Oh, that's a little bit better. Yeah. You're very welcome. So yeah, hopefully back 2 weeks' time, but on a Wednesday. If it's not on a Wednesday, please just keep your eyes peeled. As I said, things can be a little bit complicated, so I'm just having to balance work and appointments and things. So yeah, hope you have a good couple of weeks. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're getting some sunshine. Don't know about you, but it's making a real difference, spring. So I hope you're enjoying this time of year. I hope you can get outside, enjoy those gorgeous flowers, and maybe look at those symmetries even more than you've maybe looked at before. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Well done. I'm not giving up. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Origami. And those challenges make it even more satisfying when it comes together. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.